Good morning. It's fancy coffee time. Did you sleep good? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 1 and I've been trying to fall back asleep since then. Pretty sure I'm up for the day. And that's okay, because yesterday I did what I've been promising my therapist I was gonna do for a while now. I rotted in bed all day. I woke up like 11:30, filmed Fancy Coffee Time, edited Fancy Coffee Time, posted Fancy Coffee Time, went back to bed. And I woke up at 5:30. No, I think I woke up at 3:30 after a nap. I just on and off. You know the best part about sobriety and recovery is that this was 4th of July, which everybody knows is like a huge drinking holiday, right? We woke up yesterday, did all that. When I woke up from my nap, my husband and I went outside and we straightened up. It took us 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Because, surprise, surprise, when your friends aren't all a bunch of alcoholics, they clean up after themselves. They don't trash your house and leave for you to do it the next day. How wild is that? How wild? Okay, also, we have quite the selection for Fancy Coffee Time today because Claire, her contribution to our 4th of July get-together was to bring us a little coffee bar extravaganza. So we have a whole bunch of syrups we can pick from. And the other night, with that entire extravaganza, I was making us fancy teas. Oh, like fancy iced tea with the sun tea I made. That shit was so good. All right, this is the one we're going for. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, so we're gonna smell it first before we make our whole fancy coffee with it. It looks like a Samoa's Girl Scout cookie. Ooh, it's brand new too. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna like that. I'm not gonna like that. It was a good idea, but I'm not gonna be able to do it. I want to try something new. Okay, we will try something new. We're gonna do some white chocolate syrup. So Claire brought all these over the other day. She ended up going, oh, that woman, I feel so bad for her. Claire is my friend that's having our little baby Bruno. The other day on the porch we were eating, and I kind of saw it happen. Like she was like mid-bite, and I saw the morning sickness kick in. And I was like, oh, about 10 minutes later I looked over, I was like, are you okay? She wasn't. They left early. Her and her husband left early so she could go home and take care of herself, and that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. She's actually apologizing. I was like, why are you apologizing for leaving early, girl? I just wanted to make sure you were okay. Shit. You don't ever. Oh, you know what? We're gonna do a caramel white chocolate. Yeah. We haven't done carrot caramel in a while. It's like, you don't have to apologize. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. She was like, I felt so bad leaving early. Why? Gorgeous. You're having us a baby. You're doing all the work. You leave whenever the fuck you want, baby. You go home and take care of yourself and that baby. So white chocolate caramel, I guess that's what we're doing today. So a couple cool things happened this weekend. I learned where my big girl voice was. And some of you may be like, what? You've been talking about stuff for a really long time. You've always known your big girl voice. Nope. No, I have not. So there's this thing about me where I was raised to be who everybody else wanted me to be. Not allowed to be myself. She was good enough, but the people in her life never made her feel that way, right? So that's pretty much raised to be a people pleaser. And I could never say what I was thinking. Well, this is where therapy is coming in so clutch. Because for over a year now, my therapist has been telling me that I can tell my husband anything. And I know I can, believe me. Problem is, ooh, that white chocolate caramel's good. Very nice, thank you, Clarissa. I know I can tell my husband absolutely anything. But for someone like me, my husband is the relationship I treasure the absolute most. For someone like me, sometimes expressing yourself, even to your golden retriever husband, who would never, ever, ever do anything to hurt you, it's scary, right? So for a long time, my therapist has been telling me that I can talk to my husband about things. I can say things to my husband. Well, Saturday was the day I proved that to myself. I want to take you back to last year, February of last year, when I bought my first pair of Brooks shoes. I grew up not having much money at all. Okay, we were Payless people. Payless or thrift store. That's where we got our shoes. Now, when I lived with my bio mom, we had top of the line everything. Then I went and lived with my dad. We were poor shit. So we went from like having Nikes and all the cool stuff to nothing. So thrift store, Payless. And I honestly was always okay with Payless and thrift store stuff. Never bothered me. Working in the restaurant industry, I always had cheap shoes. I would just go to Payless, get like the $20 shoes for cruise. They weren't really shoes for cruise or whatever. But I felt bad spending money on myself because I was raised to always spend as little bit of money as possible because you never knew what you were going to need that little bit of money that you had for. So last year, February, we had done some research. I just started walking in September, so like 5 months before. And for my birthday, I done some research. I wanted to get a pair of Brooks shoes. Now, these were very expensive shoes, and I felt so much guilt for buying a $130 pair of shoes. Never in the history of ever had I spent that much on a pair of shoes. But with my injury on my foot, it was important, and my husband had thoroughly convinced me for months that I needed to invest in a good pair of shoes, and it was me battling with it, right? It had nothing to do with him, it was me. So last week, my husband's online and he sees that Under Armour is having a clearance sale. And he's like, do you mind if I look and get myself a new pair of shoes? I was like, that's fine, babe. Like, do whatever you want. Well, he was looking and he was like, didn't you say you wanted some lifting shoes for my deadlifts? And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. I'd rather just go try them on. He was like, well, just see if there's something that you like. And if so, I'll get them. And if you don't like them, we can return them. I said, okay. So I find this pair of shoes that I can use because for deadlifting you want like really, really flat, like as close to the ground as possible with your foot. So you want like really flat shoes. And we found a pair that get delivered. Well, Saturday we're cleaning up the house, we're getting ready for everybody to come over, and he opens the box with the shoes in them. He tries his on, he gives me mine, I try mine on, they're super tight. I put them back and I was like, well, I'll keep them, you know. Like the more weight I lose, the smaller my feet get anyways. So they'll just be a future pair of shoes. And he was like, that's fine. And as he's walking away, he was like, see, babe, look at that. I go shopping and I get us 2 pairs of shoes for $100 and not your $150 pair of shoes. Ugh. I shut down immediately. I shut down. I said, that was fucked up. And I walked away. I said, I did not like that. That hurt me. And as I'm walking away, I turn around and I look at my husband. I said, you just hurt my feelings. Big girl voice came out. Now, when I said that, my husband was like, ugh. What did I do? He didn't understand that I still had guilt and shame for spending that much money on myself. And something that he said in the most joking manner, where he was the one back last year encouraging me to spend good money on shoes. When I said that to him, he was just like, where'd that come from? Wait, whoa, where'd that come from? And then I realized what I did. And I said, oh, I am. And I couldn't say I was sorry. Because I wasn't. I was not sorry. And the people pleaser in me wanted to apologize to him a million times for telling him he hurt my feelings. The people pleaser in him apologized to me 100 times for saying something that hurt my feelings. And I kept telling him, you don't have to apologize. You did nothing wrong. You said something that was very true. I had guilt and shame associated with my shoe purchase a year ago. I felt that. So after a few seconds go by, well, maybe a minute or two, we talk. And I was like, look, what you said hurt me because I've never spent money on myself. And he said, I know, babe, but you deserve to. So what he said, he never thought would hurt me because he's always felt that I'm deserving of good things. It's a me thing, okay? So that's honestly, like afterwards, I was like, oh my God, did I just pick a fight with my golden retriever husband for no reason? But I didn't pick a fight for no reason. That feeling needed to be processed, okay? So in the last couple weeks, your girl has gotten up to here with the bullshit. And she started processing. She started using her big girl voice. And yesterday or Saturday, I used that big girl voice to do something that I've been being told for over a year I needed to do. You see, because my thing is that when I have something good, like my husband, I have the biggest fear of messing that up. Because, hi, complex PTSD, she lives right here in the corner of my brain. And she is always constantly telling me that the worst is yet to come. But I'm really proud of myself for having my big girl voice the other day. My husband was even proud of me. He was like, babe, you did that. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I feel really bad. And he was like, you don't have to feel really bad. I feel really bad. I was like, you don't have to feel really bad. Like, you don't. But I'm not going to apologize for biting your head off. And he was like, you don't have to. And I was like, okay. And that was it. I think what's happening right now, we're empty nesters. We're learning how to communicate better as well. Now it's just us. And you know what? More than anything, I am so grateful for the fact it is just us, because we've got some learning curves. But we also have a reconnection that's happening, you know? And no marriage is perfect. No life is perfect. No home is perfect. But for us being together 10 years and still being able to healthily communicate, me being able to work past like that shame and guilt that I felt over a pair of shoes, and I bit my husband's head off. I was like, I didn't like that. You hurt my feelings. Well, I didn't bite his head off. But to me, that's biting his head off, because 10 years we've never once called each other names. We've never once screamed at each other. So for me, that was a big, huge deal. And I can't wait to tell my therapist about it. She's going to be so proud of me. But there was that, and there was another instance last week where I said something to him, and I kind of stood up. Not stand up for myself, but I spoke what I was feeling. Because what happens a lot of times is I don't speak what I'm feeling with him. I'm too scared to rock the boat. And my therapist has assured me, she's like, Desiree, everything you say about your husband, this man adored you. And I was like, I know, but I'm too scared to rock the boat, because what if I say something and he doesn't? Thankfully, because of therapy and because I've been putting the work in, I'm now able to see that the things I've been being told to do, I'm doing, and they're true. You know, it's like I can speak up for myself. I can tell my husband when I'm unhappy about something. And that is all part of the throat chakra. All of my woo-woo readings, it's all telling me to open this, because that's where my happiness is going to be. We were outside the other night and we were talking about the podcast and stuff, and the planning parts of the podcast. And I told my friends I'm scared. And they're like, what are you scared of? And I said, this is where comparison becomes the ultimate thief of joy, right? Because I started catastrophizing before we even started the podcast. Okay? I said, I'm scared that I'm going to blow up and become so successful that Jason won't love me anymore. I said, my exact words were, look at what Jen Hamilton is going through right now. I love that woman. And I said, what if I become way too successful and it scares my husband and he doesn't want to be with me anymore? He falls out of love with me. And you know what my friends said? They said, A, we don't think that's going to happen. But B, if it does, it's nothing you won't survive. Well, that was true. That was true. So I'm sitting here and anticipating something that could possibly not even ever happen. And if it does happen, I've made it through so much worse, you know? Why? But that's the brain. That's how it works. So today is going to be filled with self-love and affirmations, because this weekend was a lot of work emotionally. And then yesterday I was just exhausted. So I'm going to be going to the gym super early. I'll probably be there by 3 a.m. and get my workout in, because I couldn't fall back asleep. So I'm just up, you know? When it's up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's up. I love Cardi B. Any hoots, toots, fruits. Yeah, Erica left a mango here, so I might have that for breakfast. Some of it, not all of it. And, yeah, yesterday we just ate leftovers from the party. I didn't even cook. I had so much fruit salad, it was insane. But, yeah, so we're growing and glowing, right? Growing and glowing. I think the scary part is that you never know how people are going to react, you know? But I gotta stop thinking about other people and think about myself more. And I did that the other day when I flat out said, you hurt my feelings. I've never said those words to my husband. Ever. You hurt my feelings, because he doesn't. And it wasn't him. It was in me. You know, he was just joking. And he was like, I couldn't believe how many times he apologized. He felt so bad. I was like, babe, stop apologizing. It's not you. It was me. And that's where, I think sometimes when we snap at people, if we just stop and reflect on what's going on in us, we can figure out. It's most likely not them. It's most likely in here, you know? So very grateful. Yeah, today's gonna be a busy day. I got a lot to do. I need to go have a meeting and run. I need to get my cart back from Chef Mike. I haven't had that thing since the draft. I need that so bad, it's not funny. I'm gonna go be picking all that up today. I don't know if me and Maddie are taking the girls swimming today also as well. I know we talked about it, but I don't know if we are. Okay, gotta go, love you, bye.